Hello, everybody. Okay. So I had a different topic actually set out for today, but I decided to go with this topic because I just got super excited and, was just super excited about it. So the topic we're going to be talking about today is what a man is, what makes you a man, and, what men are supposed to be, and kind of a little bit about what they are in today's day and age. So let's get right into it. Hey, I'm Jameson. I am the host of this podcast, the Alpha Insight Podcast. If you are a new listener, I want to welcome you. If you are a recurring listener, I want to welcome you as well. I'm super glad you're with me today, and I hope you learned something, if anything. I hope you learned something, and let's get right into the episode. All right, so let's start with laying out the foundation of, the ground rules to the episode. We need a foundation to start off of. So, what is a man? Well, in the most simplest form, a man was born a boy with the genetics of a male, with the double chromosomes, the double Y chromosomes, built different from a woman, has different chemicals in their bodies. A man, has a penis, or, in very rare cases, is born with the physical, differences, like, whatever, but that's a different story right there. Anyways, genetically born with male genetics. That's a man. I mean, it's crazy I have to say this in 2023. You'd think we'd be progressing, but, we're kind of not. And look, I'm sorry I'm coming off a little bit harsh. I've heard that I come off really harsh and I'm not really gentle with my message, but, I would agree. But if I'm not getting the point across to you, and you're not understanding it clearly, then I'm not doing my job. And, if we were in person, I probably wouldn't be this harsh at all, because that's not what I like to do. I don't like to, be a jerk about things. I don't like to be all harsh about things and whatever, but I'm trying to get my point across, and I need you to understand it clearly. And I can't do that if I'm going to sit here beating around the bush. So, now that we have that out of the way, that's what a man is. Now, also, I don't care, just so you know, I don't care if you're transgender. You can do whatever you want in your own home. It's a free country, people. You can do whatever you want behind closed doors and whatever stuff you're into. But, and I have no problem with that. But I do have a problem when it starts affecting our society in negative ways. That's when I have a problem with it. I don't wish negative things on transgender people. I wish the best for them. I hope the best for them. And, everybody, I hope the best for you and I wish the best for you. But when your actions are affecting society in a negative way, I'm going to talk about it. Because, you are living in opinion, not a reality. And they're different things. Sorry you have to hear that now from me, but opinion and reality, opinion and truth are different things. So I have a problem with biological men, when biological men are dominating in women's sports, when biological men are going into women's bathrooms and raping little girls. Just think about it, though. These women, they grow up, they spend their entire lives training, to get in this sport, and they spend, oh my gosh, could you imagine the amount of time and effort you have to put in to get into the Olympics or whatever, into that sport? And, say you're a guy, and a Goliath that's, not even human, an avatar, if you've seen the movie Avatar, an avatar joins the Olympics and dominates you. That's totally not freaking fair, right? That's exactly what's happening in our women's sports, basically. It's totally not cool. Totally not cool. because men genetically, men have more drive. We're built stronger in most cases. And, I've seen women who are stronger than a lot of dudes. But, generally speaking, men are built, stronger. And they have more drive, more competitive drive, I guess, and testosterone and whatever. And they kind of just, dominate in some ways. They just kind of dominate. And so for a biological man to compete in women's sports because he is living in opinion and not truth is not okay. That's not okay. I don't hate transgender people. I don't wish ill upon them at all, but I don't support someone when they're living in and believing in opinion and not truth. My job here is not to make you like me. Well, kind of it is, because, otherwise nobody would ever come back to listen to the episodes ever again. But more importantly, what I want to do is tell you the truth, as any good friend would do. Your real friends are going to be the people who tell you the truth even when it hurts. That's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm not going to support someone when they're living and believing opinion as truth. And it's that tough love, that thing you don't want to hear, but it's true, And I would rather be real with people and give the hard truth and have a very few amount of listeners, have a very few amount of friends, have a very few people in my life than be fake with everybody and have a million friends, And that's something I've noticed a lot recently is, the way my beliefs impact my friendships and stuff and whatever. But that's for actually, I believe, next week's episode or a further episode. But when you're striving to do the right thing and it may be controversial, people are going to walk away from you, and that's okay. All right. So now that we have our foundation laid, and I got a little bit off topic, but now that we have our foundation laid for what a man really is, let's get into what a man should be, the traits that a man should have. So I came up with, a man should protect, a man should provide, and I couldn't think of a third word, and I was just, I can't think of a good word for it. But then I listened to this other podcast that came across my platform, and he says men are to protect, provide, and preside. I was like, oh, that is crazy. Go check him out. It's Order of Man podcast. Super, super great stuff. If you're a young dude or even an older dude, go check him out. It's insane information. This guy is awesome, and he wants to be a mentor, and he wants to teach other dudes how to, become a better man, and super cool guy. I definitely recommend checking that out. But let's get into the first part of that, which is protect. And what that does not mean is taking advantage of others, which is why I'm saying what that doesn't mean is because I see more guys not protecting than protecting. I see more guys take advantage of others than protecting others. And it's disgusting to me. I see all these guys, telling everybody else that, I'm a man and whatever. Well, they're going to take advantage of women and younger people or, anybody else. And it's disgusting to me. It hurts me to see that so many guys are just so lost and they call themselves a man when they're manipulating others and taking advantage of others and using their strength for harm. And it's just disgusting to me. I've seen my friends' phones that are females, even my sister's phone, and it's just awful how these guys are acting towards women and ladies and young ladies, and how they treat women, and they call themselves a man. Okay, an example, unsolicited wiener pics, when guys are sending wiener pictures to girls without even asking if that's okay first. Some of you may think that that's crazy, but if you know, that's a very common thing. And that's just stupid. That's not okay. Another thing I see really, really commonly is guys will ask for nudes and the girl will be like, no. And the guy will get so pissed off and he's like, when they say, he'll get so pissed off when they say no because that lady has respect for herself or just because she doesn't want to. And, what I see is these guys start shaming these girls and they start calling them all these disgusting, horrible things. And it's insane the amount of, I don't even know what word I can use there is, but if you've seen this before, you know what I'm talking about. And it's not uncommon. It's just disgusting. And you want to call yourself a man? No. I disagree. I've seen guys, even grown dudes, treat a woman like total meat. And when the lady says no, these guys just flip out. It's almost like they're acting like they deserve it. They're acting like you're supposed to have sex with me. And when the girl says no, they're like, you're such a slut. You're such a this or that. Nobody will ever love you. And, the crap like that it's awful. I wish I was over exaggerating, but I've personally seen it on other people's phones. It's awful. And another thing we have to take in account is the amount of sexual assault done by men. An estimated 91% of victims of rape and sexual assault are female, and 9% are male. Nearly 99% of perpetrators are male. That's crazy, people. And I got that statistic from t.edu, and I've got a link somewhere connected to this episode as well. On average, there are 463,634 victims aged 12 or older of rape and sexual assault each year in the United States, from RAINN.org. These stats are just the reported ones. A lot of these don't even go reported because, oftentimes there's nothing even happens anyways. Only 2% of rapists actually convicted are sent to prison. That's crazy. That's crazy. And these numbers they're growing. And that should tell you something. That should set off a freaking alarm that all these guys are going around treating women terribly and other people, and they're gonna, call themselves a man. You're gonna call yourself a man. So most people don't even report when they are sexually assaulted or raped because most of the time nothing even happens. And you wonder why so many people don't report it. Nothing happens. The system is all messed up. There's no way of proving it, even though we have legitimate proof. Oh, that's not admissible in court. On top of their 1,000,001 other BS reasons why they let people like this go. But on top of that, it makes it really hard for victims to report actual sexual assault because a lot of people fake it. A lot of people are faking it. There's a ton of people who report rape because they decided to drink and hook up with someone they regret. And so they freaking report it as rape. A lot of times this stuff gets reported because, they just didn't like it or whatever their stupid reason is. People fake it, and that puts a real strain on actual victims. And it's so messed up. This whole freaking system, it's so messed up. So yes, not only are guys at fault, the ladies are too, but I'm talking about the guys today. On top of all that, a lot of times women don't report it because they're afraid to report it because people, they could be publicly shamed, accused of lying, or they think nothing will happen anyways, so why go through the whole process for nothing? People get publicly shamed for reporting rape. And that's insane. That's just insane. I get it. A lot of people fake it. I don't know. It's just a whole messed up thing. And this would be much less of an issue if, one, real men would step up, and two, when things like this do happen, people wouldn't report it just because they regret it, even though it was consensual. A side note from today's episode, not talking to the guys right here, but the way women dress should be fine, It should be fine. You want to wear that crop top? Yeah, go for it. You want to wear those shorts? Go for it. But people are disgusting. If you don't want to be sexualized, I'm just going to say this. If you don't want to be sexualized, don't wear the crop tops. Don't wear the booty shorts. Like, come on now. I get where you're coming from. A lot of times, what you're going to say is, well, I just want to, express myself. I want to feel empowered. I want to, I should be able to wear whatever I want. And yes, you should. You should feel empowered. You should be able to wear whatever you want. I totally agree. But when you have creeps out there and guys who are going to, be staring at you and whatever, if you're uncomfortable with the old dude in the corner staring you down, then don't wear it and don't complain about it. If you are fine with that, then go for it. By all means, go for it. But all I'm saying is, yes, you should feel empowered. You should be able to wear whatever you want and whatever. But just because you should people are messed up. And that doesn't change the fact that people are messed up. People are going to be creeps. People are going to be perverts. And you can't be surprised when stuff like that happens, Anyways, back on topic. Number 2, provide. Men are to provide. Men were made and built to work. Built for it. Genetically and biblically, in the Bible, it literally says, men are to work, and genetically, we were built for work. I'm not saying, don't you dare start thinking I'm a sexist. I'm not saying women can't work or shouldn't work, as if that is what you want. If that's what you want to do, go for it. If you want to feel empowered, do it. If you want to get that job, go for it. You can put in the work and you can, do the grind just like any dude. And a lot of, women can do a lot of things better than a lot of dudes, and a lot of dudes could do a lot of things better than the ladies. It's just genetically we were built differently. And guys can do things better than women, and women can do things better than guys. That's just a fact. But I'm going to save the women empowerment topic for another episode because I don't want to get into that right now. But I've seen such a loss of motivation in young guys. It's so saddening. Since COVID, which was all fake, by the way, since COVID hit, just look at the amount of people who weren't getting their driver's license. 1997, 43% of 16-year-olds and 62% of 17-year-olds had driver's licenses. That sounds weird. In 2020, those numbers had fallen to 25% and 45%. So from 43 to 25% and from 62 to 45%. And I got those stats from the Washington Post. A link for that will all, you get the drill. But this is a society problem, not just a man problem. I don't want to just dog on men, and I don't want to just dog on guys and young dudes who are just, going through it. But guys are lost. We don't have a man to look up to. So we're taught by society and we're taught by women, and society is throwing around all this toxic masculinity. And, I felt that for a long time. I've experienced things where there's genuinely a hate for straight white men. It's insane. But not even just specifically that, but for men in general. There's a societal hate for men. And on top of that, older men are not stepping up to teach the younger generations. And so where are all these, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself, So women are growing afraid of men, large numbers of them. Society is hating men, and it starts because we don't have someone to look up to. We don't have somebody to learn from. We don't have somebody to teach us. Which leads me to number 3, which is preside. Be a leader. You are called to be a leader if you are a man. You are called to teach the younger generations. You are called to, step up in your communities and in your homes. If we have no one that leads others, we have problems like the ones we see today in society. And guys aren't stepping up, men aren't stepping up. So we've got all these problems going around, but society's just still hating on men. Just an example, in today's society, we're seeing a large number of femininity in men. We're seeing and the problem is not just the youth, but a lot of these problems occur because of our parents. Our parents, the people who grow us and teach us. There's a lot of problems in the parenting society and all that, but that's for another day too. But right now I want to talk about the problems occurring because fewer men are stepping up to be leaders. We're seeing an increase in numbers of shootings and robberies and suicides, and a lot of these statistics come from guys who have no father figure in their life. Go look it up, seriously. A majority of these people, a lot of these people are young guys who didn't have a father figure in their life. Men are meant to be almost a foundation for society. I genuinely believe that. Men are to be a foundation for society, and in their homes, they're to be a foundation in their homes, in their communities, in their society, in everywhere. We're the ones others go to for support, for comfort, but we're also the ones willing to do what it takes. We have to be the ones who have to do the dirty work. And we have to do the things that have to be done. And we have to protect, and we have to provide, and we have to be the ones that people look up to for truth. And men are not doing that anymore. Society has broken us down so much that we even have started to almost hate ourselves. But there's nothing wrong with being a guy. There's nothing wrong with being a man. Men are crucial to our society. We should be leading younger generations and setting an example for them. What I see too often today is kids are just so lost and they have no one to look up to for help. And because of that, they look to their other things for help. They look to their friends, being one of them, which usually leads to all kinds of trouble and more need for a leader in their life. Without men in leadership roles, we have kids who aren't taught to work hard, who are told to just give up when something gets hard, who are taught their feelings trump truth, truth and reality, and kids who grow up thinking, what's in it for me? Instead of, how can I help someone else today? That's a real freaking problem. That's a real problem. Biology and biblically, this is how men are supposed to be. Protectors, providers, and leaders, basically. Protect, provide, preside. There's so much to say about this topic. It's just, and I had to bring this up today because it's sad watching so many guys just go through things and not have anyone to look up to. And if you are a young dude listening today, a young man listening today, there is hope. Just know, even though life will try and beat you down, it's time to learn to keep getting up. And if you're a young dude and you just feel like you really need some help and whatever, I don't know exactly where you should go to for help and all, but you should definitely check out the Order of Man podcast if you really need some help with figuring out that kind of stuff. Definitely check out that podcast. I think it would help a tremendous amount. And I want to leave it on a good note because I feel like I always leave it on a bad note, but I want to leave you with hope, because there is hope. There's always hope. Things can always change and get better, and I truly believe that. I don't want to just dog on you all the time, and I wanted to bring up these, that's what I think a man should be. And I'm on your side. I'm on your side. So, with all that being said, my friend, with all of that craziness for today's episode, I really hope you learned something. I hope this episode put things into perspective for you. And I hope you got to sit back and just really look at, and I hope you get to think about how our society really is and how it should be. Because I want you to think for yourselves, and I want you to, question things, and that's what I want you to be able to do that for yourself. And I don't know. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, my friend. If you are a young dude struggling and you need some help or you need some guidance, check out the Order of Man podcast. I really think you would learn a lot from this guy. Totally forgot his name, but definitely go check it out. Thank you for listening, my friend. I hope you have a wonderful week. And, really, I'm publishing new cover art for the podcast as well. And you would have known if you were on the Instagram or Facebook page at Alpha Insight Podcast. I gave out a couple samples and I let you guys vote, and the one with the highest votes is going to be published. So, but there you go. So now you know, check out the Instagram. There's a bunch of cool stuff going on in the Facebook and whatever. I try to engage with you as much as I can, because I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear your actual thoughts. And that's one way I can connect with you. And yeah, so awesome. Have a great week, my friend. And just keep killing it out there. I'll see you next week.